many, many books are a surprise and a delight for me. But one has come along that I've just recently finished that was totally unexpected. It's called Columba's Bones by David Greig. Now, as I got to the end of the book, I realised that it is part of the Darkland Tales, which is a little series. And I'd read and reviewed one a while ago by Denise Mina called, I think, Savanarala. Columba's Bones by David Greig. And David Greig is a playwright. And I did notice in this small little novel, his scene setting and his dialogue are just top class. And more than that, it's not just on that alone that I'd go, yay, this is a book you really all got to go and read. So it's set on the Isle of Iona, which he refers to as the Isle of I, for historical reasons. And we are in 1825 AD. On the island is a thriving monastery with the abbot Blachamach, who was a historical figure, and that's historically and factually verifiable. And the other true thing that happens in this is all those Viking raids. And this is a book about the clash between them nasty Vikings who keep coming back to these monasteries where there are all the treasures and the manuscript, and there are, lots of people to be murdered. So in one way, this book is quite it swings between these moments of violence that Greig doesn't really make us watch. You just kind of know that it's happening, not really off stage, but he allows your brain not have to see every sort of stick and thrust, and but more of the interiority of the Vikings sort of going, whoa, 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 going to go and murder some people today. So it keeps it on a level where the brutality isn't too shocking. And he swings between this kind of, these slashing sort of scenes and all told with amazing good humour, kind of rollicking good humour, and the light, I suppose, the luminosity of some of the interiority of the monks, or particularly one monk. So on a particular raid, we have we have a main trio. We've got Grimmer, who's a Viking, and he's kind of getting to the end of finding this, these sort of raids being a lot of fun. He's kind of over all of this, and they all land on the shore, rush up, start their murdering business, and for some reason that you've to read, I'm not going to tell you everything, he gets left behind. Everyone else gets completely murdered. The Vikings were actually looking for a particular relic, which the abbot says had been buried, and will not give up where he has buried the relic of Columba's bone, its finger. So he gets murdered quite painfully, but you don't see it. And one of the little monks, who's so terrified of this whole raid, has decided he's going to rush to the bog, and where his bowels will betray him, but it's what saves his life. Grimmer, in the meantime, has decided he's going to, murder a blacksmith or something, but the blacksmith's wife is there, and she's the mistress of mead, and she gives him a goblet of this because, it just happened that way, and he's a goner. She's pretty good at this. So it's about how these three, who are the only three for the moment left on this island, you've got Grimmer the Viking, who gets left behind. You've got very young monk Martin, and then you've got Una, who was this midwife. And it's not just how they're going to survive together, it's how we're going to have a clash of kind of culture and of faith. And a lot of this book is about how everything is dictated by the god or gods you're following. Suffice to say that not only is it very funny in places, and not only did you really feel that this is something, the way Greig writes, this is exactly how, you'd imagine these kind of clashes could, don't you dare go near my mic, could have happened, but he sort of humanises this. But the young Martin, the young monk, who feels that it's incumbent upon him to be the new, to keep it all going. And he's offered rescue several times. He works on these manuscripts. He's illuminating a manuscript, and he remembers the words of a monk who had taught him about reading scripture and reading passages, and how on many levels, what is it that you get from it. And the writing on that in particular was divine, absolutely superb book. The poetics are to die for. And you're swinging between the sort of the kind of hilarity, brutality, and then this lift onto another plane when these two men kind of come to an understanding of each other, and it's not even a truce. It's a kind of a true understanding of each other's gods. And in the end, that kind of how you get along as a community in sort of not just respect, because your gods are pretty much nonsense. You know, how you live your life is not decided by those, and how that's part of their conversation. It was an absolute, not a Pandora's box, it was a box of delight on the sentence level and on that sort of magic meeting of two faiths. Astonishing. Loved it. You know what to do.